What's going on, podcast? Got a quick one for you guys today here. We're going to keep it light and motivational and fun. So this is in anticipation of our logbooks that just came in. I'm going to be sharing some fitness motivation here, 5 of Taylor's favorite quotes and 5 of my favorite quotes on things that get us in the mindset to lift some weights and set some PRs. So these logbooks are available on our website, supersetyourlife.com. They are $13.50. Spent weeks working and designing these things because
months, actually.
Yeah,
long time.
It's been quite a bit of time designing these things, and the reason we did this is because I've been tracking my weights for years. Most bodybuilders and lifters, people that take their training seriously, they track, and the reason is because you can see your progress, make sure that you're making progress. And things get complicated when you throw different dieting strategies in. You know, your goal should be, well, we'll get into this later in the episode, but basically your goal should be, if you're in a surplus, the numbers need to be going up. You need to make sure that you're building muscle and you're building strength, because if you're not and the scale is going up, that means that you're gaining weight that is not the kind of weight that you want to be gaining. So for that reason, having a resource to be able to document is something that I have been doing for years and years and years. And I've had clients, I've had friends reaching out to me and saying, hey, where do you get that logbook? I want to start doing the same thing. So I was just sending people a link on Amazon where I was getting these things. And finally, after like 20 or 30 of them, I was like, man, that's 20 or 30 sales that I could have had if this was something that I created. So we put our heads together and we designed what we think to be is a much better product, something that is geared specifically to bodybuilding competitors. So you can see it on the website, but basically at the top of every single page, you have your date, and then you have the then you have the day, and then 12 different muscle groups. And so what happens is you circle all of the muscles that you're going to be working, so you don't have to write in the name of your workout. Then after a few days, if you're like, I haven't been circling calves, well, you should probably be circling calves in your next workout. You should probably be working calves in your next workout too. That would be an even better idea. So that's what the top of it looks like. And then you got your warm-up exercises. If you notice, there's no room for cardio on this. It doesn't say cardio anywhere on this because I don't like the word cardio. I don't know many people that do like the word cardio. So warm-up and cool down for us and for all of our clients is always code for cardio, because you do it before and after you work out. You should be doing it to warm up, and you should be doing it to cool down. And before your workout, it gets blood going. It gets you in the mindset. It's your time the time where I look over my logbook and go, okay, what was the last time that I benched? What should I be benching today? And getting myself mentally prepared and visualizing how good of a workout this is going to be. So I do that. And then after the workout, that's when your testosterone levels are highest. Even women too. It's a very, very important hormone for building muscle and for burning fat. That's when your growth hormone is the highest. And so that's a perfect time to be burning fat, actually. And also it's important to let your hormones settle down too. Like if I lift hard and then just leave the gym, like I can't even really eat a meal yet. Like it's just like part of my circadian rhythm. It's part of the ritual. You got to do that cool down cardio afterwards. So yeah, you track all your exercises, up to 7 sets per exercise. And then you have your cool down exercise, which is your cardio and your time. And then you notice that you want to record at the bottom of it. And then we have over 100 motivational quotes at the bottom of every single page. So what we thought would be fun is to have Taylor share some of her 5 favorite quotes. And then I'm going to share a couple tips on how to track your workouts the most effectively to make sure that you're making progress. And then I'm going to share my 5 favorite. Now, these quotes throughout this entire book, these are from bodybuilders. These are from powerlifters. These are from people that are just famous. Like I got Abraham Lincoln in here.
Business mentors.
Yeah, business mentors and judges that have been influential in my bodybuilding journey. Some people that you may not even recognize, but have just been very, very close to me and helpful to me and encouraging to me on my journey. So I guess you could kind of say this is the first book that we ever wrote. I felt like I was writing a book by the time I was done with it, but the exciting thing about this is it is a book, but you have to write it. All right. So with that, I'm going to give it to Taylor, and she's going to share what her 5 favorite quotes are. Go for it, babe.
Okay. So the first one is by Wayne Gretzky. Procrastination is one of the most common and deadliest of diseases, and its toll on success and happiness is heavy.
Oop.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
Yeah. All right. So
we are both hockey players, so
yeah.
a little bias on that one.
Okay. Small, smart choices plus consistency plus time equals radical difference. Darren Hardy. And I like this a lot. I don't even remember which book he wrote.
The Compound Effect.
Okay.
Yep.
Because
we read that one together about 5 years ago.
Yeah. I really like this one because when you start your fitness journey, you don't see results right away, as in with any journey that you start.
Mm-hmm.
And so this just helps you realize that if you're making small positive changes every day, and you're consistent, that over time you're going to have good results.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be a little bit too. That if it's the next workout and you're just doing one extra rep, or you're doing one extra, or you're just doing 2.5, all you did was you added the 2.5 pounds onto the barbell.
Yeah.
It's something.
That's a lot of my workouts.
Yeah. You should get a PR every single workout. Maybe you're just reducing the time between sets. Maybe you can't do any of that, and you just get mad, and your last set is just a strip set, and you just and you just do a big drop set at the end, or just something to stimulate your muscles to where every single workout they go, oh, something different happened. We need to adapt and we need to grow.
Yeah.
Cool.
Next one is by Tracy Eaton, who is a business mentor that we've had in the past. And it's too hard for you, just right for me. And I think this is great for working out, but I also put this into our business because so many people aren't willing, and I don't want to say not willing, but there's just owning a business is hard.
Yeah.
And we've built a few businesses now, and none of it's been easy. I mean, we're more passionate today than we ever have been about what we're doing, but it's hard. But the beautiful thing is when something is hard like that, it's also the most gratifying because you're fighting for a future for yourself. And can you get that from a job? Yeah, I'm sure you can. But for us, we would just rather work 150 hours a week for ourselves than 40 hours a week for anybody else. And that's too hard for a lot of people. But you know what? It's just right for us. So, yeah. This one is really good. By Jay Cutler. He is a bodybuilder. I don't know too much about him, but I know I've seen a few of his movies that he has out, like documentaries.
Yep.
But I don't eat for taste. I eat for function. And we were just talking about this on our walk 2 days ago. Mm-hmm. I feel like the world is so focused on food tasting good because it makes you feel good emotionally. Yep. It fills this void in your heart. And so many people eat because it makes them feel good versus eat because it helps their body function better. And I've had a big mind shift when it comes to food in the last year, once we started going keto. And, a lot of people look down on the keto diet, to each their own on their own opinions, but it was one of the best decisions we ever made because cutting out carbs were a big trigger for both you and me.
Yeah.
And the best decision we did was cut those out. Mm-hmm. And it kind of took that temptation away. And I know a lot of people who do thrive on a carnivore diet, a ketovore diet, or whatever, even a carbivore diet, but we don't do carbivore. I just know a lot of people who've had success with that. And for us, it's just it shifted our mindset on food. So we're eating to best fuel our body for what we want it to do and not to focus on how it makes us feel. So,
absolutely.
My last one, I'm biased because this is actually by my great grandpa, who's amazing. William Buack. He built a very successful, all of my grandpas have built multi-million-dollar businesses, and they're very successful, and they've made a big impact on us and what we wanted to do with entrepreneurial life. So luck is the residue of desire, and success is only the moment that it happens. Now get your ass back to work.
Whoa. Is that your first time swearing on our podcast?
Well, I can't just not say that.
I'm going to have to go put our language disclaimer on the front of this one.
Okay.
Going to have to put the E for explicit on this podcast.
Yeah. But this one's special to me. My grandpa actually just passed away earlier this year. He was 94?
Mm-hmm.
No. 97, because James was actually, him and James share a birthday.
It's a 5-generation gap.
Yeah, it's so cool. And he's just had a big impact on my life. And so I'm really glad that we were kind of able to honor him and put this in our book. So those are my 5 quotes.
Awesome. Thanks for that, babe. Mm-hmm. All right. I'm going to get on to my 5 too. And first I wanted to share 3 tips on how to track your workouts most effectively. make sure that you're making gains. So first one is, if I don't believe in bulking, by the way, and there's a term being thrown around now that's being used that I like a lot better, which is called maingaining. If you look up Greg,
I thought that was a typo when you put that in there. I'm like, I don't get this, but now I understand.
No, it's maingaining. And if you look up Greg Doucette, maingaining on YouTube, I love this guy's videos. He's really, really entertaining, and he's smart. He really, really knows what he's talking about. And so he talks about maingaining as opposed to bulking. Bulking for me has never been a healthy mindset. It's just an excuse to eat French fries and to eat in a calorie surplus and to eat out all the time. And there's a lot of very, very unhealthy habits that are developed. And then when you want to actually look good, and when you actually want to start being healthy again, and you want to see the progress that you've made, you have all these bad habits of eating out, spending too much money, eating sugar. And a lot of this stuff isn't even really food. It's chemically engineered to make it addictive and to make you want to go back and have more of it. So then when you get on a contest prep, like you're still craving all these foods, and now you're having to eat sweet potatoes and rice and chicken all the time. And or in my case, I'm not even eating any carbs anymore. It's all steak and meats and maybe some vegetables here and there. Lots of bone broth, but that food doesn't taste as good if you have all this other junk food in there. So for that reason, maingaining is the idea of maintaining whatever your natural level of body fat is at your leanest without being unhealthy. So for me, I'm kind of at that borderline right now. I'm cutting right now because I'm coming out with a lot of new barbells and a lot of new curl bars for Skullbellz. So I want to be lean so I can record videos with them so I can promote my own products better. And I just like being lean too. I love it. So I'm cutting down for that. I'm going to be feeling it here for about the next month. We also have a client that's doing his first ever classic bodybuilding show. And so just because he's doing it, I feel like, you know what, I'm going to cut down with you, and not to your extreme low level of body fat. This guy is peeled right now. But me being in the grind with him, it helps me to coach him, and it helps me to know what's going through his head. And I feel like I'm a better coach if I'm not going to the extent that he is, but if I'm doing a lot of the things that I'm teaching him, because you got to practice what you preach. Everything. I'm not ever going to have somebody do something in their program that I'm not willing to do. So most of my workouts, most of my meal plans, it's just like the last thing that I have somebody else doing, basically. So anyway, that's maingaining, and being at a low level of body fat, which is not so low that it's unhealthy. It's different for every single person. Some people can be shredded year round. If that's you, great. God bless you. As a matter of fact, I really don't like you because that's not really my genetics. But building muscle slowly over time and keeping that body fat level as low as you possibly can. If you let your body fat get carried away too much, yeah, you can build muscle faster, but then you have to cut longer, and you're going to lose that muscle that you did when you were bulking. And so instead of going up and down and having to go through all these different clothing sizes, I find it a lot more enjoyable and sustainable to have healthy habits that you sustain year round and maintain that level of leanness, which again isn't necessarily shredded unless you're a very, very elite group of genetically gifted individuals, which for both of us, we're endomorphs. So that's not really how it works for us.
Well, then you're not having to, every year you basically lost 40 pounds within the year.
Yeah.
You would fluctuate between 220 and 185-ish.
Yeah. And both of us can build muscle just fine without the use of carbs. So we just prefer not to do it that way. I can't really eat carbs and stop. If I eat, I just want to keep eating them. Major trigger food. So as long as I stick to proteins and fats, I go back and forth between the carnivore diet and the keto diet. Whenever I do keto long enough and get bored of it and feel like I'm flat and bony and weak, that's kind of my body's point in telling me, you know what, it's time to go carnivore, time to bump up the calories for a bit, take a break from dieting, and then I find keto to be very, very effective for cutting. So both of them are useful. Both of them have their time and their place. If you listen to our episode a couple episodes ago on the 3 different approaches to the carnivore diet, we go into that in a bit more depth. So if you are main gaining, your weights or your reps should be increasing with every single workout, which is what I already touched on. Now, if you're cutting, the weights and the reps should be staying the same to make sure that you are in fact losing weight and that you're losing fat, but you're not losing muscle. Tip number two is to perform the same exercises until you stop seeing results. Then make your body adjust to something new so that it's always adapting. Especially if you're just starting.
Same exercise at the same weight?
Same exercises, the weights need to improve.
Oh.
And keep doing that until it stops working. So like if you're doing a barbell bench press and you're getting results on it, keep doing it, and you don't need to change it and to do any other weird variations of the bench presses. I mean, unless you're just bored and you really want to do something else, but you'll get the best results if you just keep doing it until your body adjusts to it and stops. Then you pick a new exercise, okay? Then you get with your coach, or then you find a new program and you find something to stimulate the muscle in a new and different way and shock it into forcing it to grow. And then you do a different exercise, and you do a different exercise, and then 6 months later, a year later, you come back to doing that same first exercise and you're way stronger on it than if you would have just stayed on that same exercise, because you have to throw curveballs at your body and make it do something different if you're going to make it grow. Eventually your body gets smart and it goes, look, I already have enough muscle. I already know how to do the bench press. I don't need to grow at all. But when you throw in a single arm dumbbell bench press and you're using less weight.
Oh, dumbbell. I thought you said barbell. I'm like, what?
That would be pretty intense. All right. So the third tip is to review your last workout during your pre-workout steady state warm-up cardio. I never prescribe HIIT cardio before a workout. I don't do HIIT cardio at all regardless anyway, because I hate it. It also burns glycogen too. And so for me, glycogen, I want that to be used. I'm always keto or carnivore. And so my glycogen levels are never really as high as if I was on a high carbohydrate diet. So for that reason, that is my explosive energy. I pretty much save for weight training. Steady state burns fat primarily as a fuel source. So I like to do that before and after my workout. Nothing. And so every single workout, I just hop on that treadmill, pick up my logbook, look at my last workout. Okay, this is what I need to do. I need to hit this weight, this weight, this weight. That machine's taken. Looks like I'm doing this one a day. That machine's under maintenance. Looks like I'm doing this exercise instead. And I get my whole workout going through my head before I hit that gym floor. So those are the 3 tips. Okay, and then my 5 favorite quotes. Let's see. First one that I have here is by Chris Bumstead, the new reigning champion, Mr. Olympia for classic physique. This is what he says. When you look in the mirror, you don't see the perfect version of yourself, you better see the hardest working version of yourself.
That's good.
Yeah. That is
who you are, hard worker.
Thank you. Not the most genetically gifted guy, certainly not the smartest guy, but I work harder than pretty much anybody that I know. Okay. Michelangelo. I saw an angel in the block of marble and I just chiseled until I set him free. That's what we're doing when we're bodybuilding. That's what's fun about bodybuilding, is you're changing the way that you look. And it's an art and it's a sport. It's a very, very unique hobby. It's a very unique profession. It's a very unique thing that we all do, because is it a sport? I mean, yeah, but like when you're posing at that point, it's art.
Yeah.
It is a sport if they have you up there for 15 minutes or longer, which has happened to me before one time.
Sweating bullets.
Yeah, you remember that one.
Yeah, you were shaking.
Yeah. I couldn't even move the next day. Okay, next one is by Dorian Yates. Each workout is like a brick in a building, and every time you go in there and do a half-ass workout, you're not laying a brick down. We as Christians also believe that our bodies are a temple of the Holy Spirit too. So one more reason to think of this as literally laying down the bricks of something much larger. So we find that to be something that's very much an honor to be a part of, building a temple. Okay. This is by Bishop T.D. Jakes. And I'm actually not a fan of Bishop T.D. Jakes because I don't agree with everything that he says. But this is a damn good quote, though. He said, "Your reward for overcoming a challenge is your next challenge."
I'd agree with that.
Yep. All right. And then the last one is, this one is very close to my heart. It's not good enough to develop your physique if you don't know how to show it. This is by Katie Wayman White, who is one of the most influential ladies I've ever met in my life. She is the one that taught me how to pose, and that really got me into bodybuilding in the first place. And so not just being able to build your physique, but knowing how to present it, how to make it aesthetic. Some people get irritated at me, and I've had some people tell me that I have no business teaching posing to somebody that's not even a bodybuilder, but I highly disagree. Arnold Schwarzenegger would disagree with you too. Maybe I shouldn't be on the same bandwagon with Arnold as everything right now, but there's certainly some things that he says that I'm not a fan of. But in his book, The Bodybuilding Encyclopedia, he talks all about posing, how it's not just about flexing and about looking a certain way. It's a very, very effective isometric exercise in and of itself. You learn your muscles differently. Like when you learn how to spread your lats, when you learn how to angle your legs properly, when you learn how to flex your quads, you go back and do the exercises, you have a completely different awareness of where all these muscles are and how to use them properly and how to develop them properly. So posing, flexing, it enhances your training. And if you like this episode, please share it with a friend. Thanks so much for sticking with us through this entire episode.
Leave us a rating and review.
Yeah. Whatever your next workout is, crush it. And if you don't have a logbook, we would be flattered if you would pick one up off of our website. It's at supersetyourlife.com. Save 10% if you book a coaching appointment. Okay, love you guys. Thanks a lot. God
Bye.
bless.